Hey there, thank you for checking out this video. It's pretty cool that you clicked on it. I got three things I want to talk about this week, okay? First one is the Tiger King. And I'm not going to offer any commentary on this documentary. All I want to say is the Tiger King is a huge cultural phenomenon right now. It's number one on Netflix. It has taken over social media, especially. I'm seeing it everywhere, and I don't even have any personal social media accounts. So it is crazy how much this has taken off, probably because everyone's locked in their houses right now. As a side note, you might notice that my hat is facing forwards this week and not backwards. So Matt Hallman, you're so welcome. One of my old youth pastors still offering me good advice, complaining about how I don't know how to wear a hat. So I really didn't turn it around for you though, Matt. I turned it around in support of my friends in Oklahoma. You know, I lived in Oklahoma for a few months this past summer. It was a wonderful experience. And I have a lot of pride and kinship with the people of Oklahoma. So shout out to Rejoice Church and shout out to the American Dream Center. So you're welcome, Casey and Casey. And I just want to say this right now. Not everyone in Oklahoma is like the people in the documentary, okay? I feel like they're getting a real bad rap right now because the only people that you see in Oklahoma are the people in the Tiger King documentary. And it's just so unfair. You know, there's an easy 25% of Oklahomans that aren't crazy. You know, some of them are normal. You know, the rest of the 80 to 75% is questionable, but you know, what do you do? So sorry about that. I had to get that in. Let's segue into Antonio Vivaldi, a Baroque composer. Now, I'm going to be directing these videos to musicians, and if you're not a musician, that's awesome. You can still watch. But with that disclaimer, Antonio Vivaldi was a Baroque composer. The Baroque era stretched from about 1600 to 1750. And I'm sure scholars disagree on that, but that's the general era there. And one of the most well-known composers besides Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, is Antonio Vivaldi. Antonio Vivaldi. There you go. If you make the Italian thing, it's easier. Sorry, crack myself up. So, Antonio Vivaldi, Baroque composer, he wrote one of the most famous concertos, which is called The Four Seasons, not Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, although now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure he's Italian too. But the original Four Seasons, it was a movement where Vivaldi's trying to express through music the way that the four seasons that we experience throughout the year might be, they might sound. So super cool, and you're probably thinking, never heard of that, but you have, because if you've ever called somebody with the Verizon ringback tone, the da 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 da, extremely annoying, no offense if you have it, that is the, I think it's the Allegro movement from the Spring Concerto. So you are a little bit familiar with it, but the reason I bring it up is because this past week, one of my classmates, Sarah Carson, pointed out that concertos as a musical form might be a good model for us as worshipers in our time of quarantine and isolation. So we're going to get into that in a minute, but I want you to know what a concerto is first. It's basically an orchestral work that features a soloist. So if you've listened this far, you're obviously committed to the video. I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to pause this video and click the link in the description, and that'll take you to YouTube to listen to the first movement of Vivaldi's Winter Concerto, which is really cool, and I think it'll demonstrate what we can learn from it as worshipers. So please do that, and I'm going to wait here. All right, I'm trusting that you did actually watch the video, and it is beautiful music, if nothing else. If you don't get anything else out of this video, check out some Baroque music or some classical music or some romantic music. Kind of expand your horizons. I hope we can do that a little bit through these videos. But thank you, Sarah, for this metaphor that I'm getting to share with my friends here. We, as congregation members and as worshipers, are a lot like the orchestra members. If you noticed in the video, there's times where the soloist is playing and maybe there's one or two accompanists, or there's no accompanists, and the orchestra members are just kind of standing there. But if you ever get to see in one of the shots where the orchestra members are not playing, they're not just taking a nap. Orchestra members don't do that during concerts unless they're percussionists, but that's a side note. Orchestra members are almost always engaged with the music, and they should be. And I had a band director in high school, Scott Young, who always said that we need to play the rests. And I think that's just a fundamental part of being a musician, that you never just check out of the music. And as worshipers, we never just let the music and let the worship happen to us. We're always engaged in our worship services. And I know right now it's a little bit difficult to do that. There's so many things to distract us, but I want to encourage you that as you log into Facebook and check out, or YouTube and check out our videos on Sunday morning, that you are engaging as best as you can. And even if you're not singing along, which I hope you are, but if you're not, there's a way to actively listen, just like the orchestra members do. They're always ready and listening and intent. So, maybe this is a great time for you to take a back seat and just listen and pray through our music, or to sing along, or whatever it is. When you worship, do it in spirit and truth, and do it to the best of your ability, and offer all of your attention to God in these moments. We don't often spend time devoted to God in our weeks. There's so much going on right now, but He deserves it. All throughout Scripture, we see how in the Old Testament and the New Testament, worshipers were very specific about the way that they came to God. And it wasn't for the sake of a formula, it was for the sake of giving God their best. So really, once again, I encourage you to do that. And the last point about the concerto is so cool to me to think about our congregation. All of us are those violinists or harpsichordists leaning in, waiting for the time that we get to come back in and play together and worship together. So, hey, I love you, and I appreciate you for taking the time. Respond in the comments. I'd love to get a discussion going, or you can reach out to me, especially if you're a part of our church music ministry in this time and you don't have an outlet for music. I'd love to talk to you and just to keep up with you and stay in touch. So stay safe and stay healthy. And I love this benediction that I'm going to offer now. Grace and peace be upon you. Take care.